I want us to look into medical cover with a little bit more detailed perspective. When you're purchasing a medical cover, there are things that you need to clearly understand, and especially if this is an individual cover, not a corporate cover. Number one, you need to understand where your eligibility falls, because different ages costs different, just because of the risk factors that the underwriters have looked into professionally. They've looked at the budgets, they've looked at all the probabilities of this certain age going to hospital and such things like that. So understand your eligibility. Also take note of the waiting periods, because different companies will vary a little bit on waiting periods, but there are things that all insurances, they have waiting periods. So you need to understand what is your waiting period, let's say on pre-existing conditions, what's your waiting periods on inpatient claims, because you can't take a cover today and tomorrow you're getting admitted and the cover becomes eligible. So those are things that you need to understand. There's another point that people really wonder, why do I need NHIF when I have a private insurance? NHIF is a statutory cover, it's mandatory, and all private insurances pay your bills net of NHIF rebate. Please understand that, because if you have a private cover, the medical cover that we do with the insurance companies, and you do not have an NHIF which is active, in case of admissions, you will be required to pay some bed limit in hospitals, and this is the NHIF rebate. So insurances do not cover NHIF rebate, so please be advised on that. The other thing that you need to look at critically when you're buying an insurance cover is other benefits like dental, optical, maternity. Some companies, the maternity cover is automatically part of the inpatient cover. To other companies, they have structured their cover in a way that maternity, you have to purchase it separately. So those are things that you need to watch out. Same goes to dental and optical. If you are a person with a dental and optical needs, you need to understand what is your dental and optical coverage, because again, there are some stipulations in this kind of benefits. Like you find a company covers optical, but they have a limit for the what do we call it, the lenses. The lenses and the structure of the lenses, they're given a separate limit. And when a company has structured their product in that manner, it's up to you with your insurance agent or advisor to understand what is entitled to you, so that you do not assume the fact that you have a 50,000 optical cover that you can actually go purchase some lenses worth 40K or 50K. So those are tips that you need to look out when you're buying a medical insurance. I've talked of age, I've talked about limits. Again, when we say you're covered for 10 million, you need to understand this 10 million in some instances, like accidents and acute diseases, it can be used up to the 10 million. But in many other conditions, this 10 million, you realize it has sub-limits. Like pre-existing, for 10 million, you find some companies, the limit is 2.5 or 2 million. So you need to understand that, so that when you're hospitalized, you're not thinking you have 10 million when the kind of condition you have is under certain sub-limit. And if you can afford a medical cover, why not? You don't want to be in hospital, and instead of focusing on recovering, you're focusing on this bill is really growing, like who will pay this bill? I mean, a client of mine made a joke that In fact, if you don't have a medical cover, the thought of the increasing bill would kill you itself than the disease you have. On a light note, so if you can afford it, why not? There are different options. There are options for if you are on a low budget. There are some companies offer options whereby you can access the tier 2 hospitals, tier 3, and you cannot access tier 1, but now you're able to get a budget medical cover but not able to use tier 1 hospital. If you're up to the speed of the ordinary cover, then you can use all the hospitals from tier 1 all the way.